Hi, it's Lori, Positive Thanks Living, and I'm completed this journal. It's a tea journal, hence all the tea bags and my little bit of tea here. Let me have a sip. These are some of my favorites. What's in my cup right now, though, is the white peach. It's great when it's cold, like iced tea, and it's also great hot. So here's the tea journal I've been working on. It's a part of Cara Brandon's design team project, and it's all about tea, and it's filled with lusciousness, pretty things, lots of fabrics and paper and fun things, flip outs and quotes and lace and ribbon, all kinds of things that are a part of a tea experience. You won't be able to escape the idea of tea. Included also are some pieces of jewelry, and most of them are, you'll be able to remove them if you don't care for them. Little rosette here. The journal is made from a packaging mailer, like we get the paper kind from Amazon. That's what's in the middle. And then attached are 2 linen napkins. We've got lace medallions from a doily, a ribbon. This one is fully, you can remove it completely if you don't like it. It's one signature, and there are 42 pages, or if you prefer, like 84 sides. I don't know how you like to call them. And included are digitals by Cara Brandon, the Tea Party set. There's 3 sets. One is a pretty in pink, one is a pretty in green, and one is a garden tea party. So I sort of picked and chose what I wanted to include. The doilies are, everything is attached. It's sewn, hand sewn on here and machine sewn here. There's no raw edges. And this here is a card that was pin stitched. And I'll just go slowly through just so you can see. I'll try and explain a little bit. I have a set of die cuts so you'll see them as they go through. I'm going to start taking out the ephemera. Well, I guess I'll start at the beginning here. I've included a little tea packet option with some teas for you. And this will be for sale on my Etsy. And I just had a wonderful time making it. Lots of lace, sewing. I used Fabri-Tac, which is not a water-based, so everything is very crisp. And the only piece of jewelry that's sewn in is this here. I sewed this onto this cluster that was given to me as a Happy Mail. The pages you see are from a book, a tea party book. And I thought, that's so appropriate. And we've got lots of tags. I think there's 13 tags and 13 little tags, big tags and little tags, and there's quotes all the way through. So I've collected probably, I don't know, more than 50 quotes about tea, and I put some of them in here on die cuts, printed them out and put it on die cuts. So here's one from Granford. It's a show, I think. In a few minutes, tea was brought. Very delicate was the china, very old the plate, very thin the bread and butter, and very small the lumps of sugar. Tea party. I have some words that I used my daughter's cricket joy to cut out, so relax and enjoy a cup of tea. And aren't these digitals beautiful from Cara? I have to say that this is my favorite one so far of all her digitals. Welcome to the tea party. Lots of different die cuts here. I have metal dies in my collection that I love to use, and they lent themselves to this journal so well. Tea drinking is a liturgy of comfort, and we partake of it everywhere in the world. It's a ceremony of simplicity, nourishment for both the nomads in foreign tea houses and homebodies in their beds. Tish Oxenrider, and yes, that's how you spell her name. She's a writer that I followed for many years, and she went for a longer period with her children and her husband traveling in Asia. And so she had the experience of both doing things at home and doing things not at home. And so her observation of tea. So in here is a little booklet. But indeed, I would rather have nothing but tea, says from Jane Austen. And tea. If you are cold, tea will warm you. If you are too heated, it will cool you. If you are depressed, it will cheer you. If you are excited, it will calm you. Little birdie cutout and lace on the edges of every so often of pages. Now this here is another piece of jewelry. It's on a bulb pin. You can remove it, put it somewhere else, use it yourself. I don't know. My mum is aging, and her passion, one of her many passions, was jewelry. Unfortunately for me and our children, we're not that much into jewelry. So with her permission, I've used some of this in this journal that could be for you. An embossed glassine bag. And this is the other side of one of the pages from the Tea Party book. And this is a bookmark that I sewed on so I can use it as a belly band. Oh, here's another one. There are a few hours in life more agreeable than the hour dedicated to the ceremony known as afternoon tea. Agreed. Cheers. This one I found, and it wasn't ascribed to anybody. Once upon a time, there was a cup of hot tea, a good book, and a piece of chocolate. They lived happily ever after. Isn't that cute? So in here, you're going to see different teacups that I found images for. I printed them out and then cut them out, so you've got little teacups everywhere. And here's a page that's got these little tea packets. And in each tea packet that you'll see in the journal, there are places to write. So this one has a little card with an image. And this was from the Graphics Fairy. This one has a little a larger piece to play with. A teapot shared is a problem halved. I really like that statement because it's true. Now these little packets, I wanted to make some so badly, and my hands were hurting from fussy cutting. So I tried my daughter's Cricut, and I taught myself how to create a template. I'll put it at the end for making these tea packets. Designed them in Canva and then cut them out using her Cricut. So that, I feel a sense of accomplishment about that. So everything that you see in here, the little tea packets, I cut them out, other than the one from the Graphics Fairy. When the going gets tough, the tough go to tea. This is a disposable tea packet, and I've tucked a little booklet in here. Just some papers. I must drink lots of tea or I cannot work. Tea unleashes the potential which slumbers in the depth of my soul. Leo Tolstoy. Agatha Christie, two writers. Tea was important too. And another large tag. I'm taking them out as opposed to putting them in because sometimes on camera I feel awkward. So, coffee and chocolate are certainly wonderful. I agree. But they must forever carry tea's silken train Ever the bridesmaids and never the bride. That was a quote from a book. I edged this piece of the Southworth paper. It's linen paper. It's got a texture to it with an image, so it flips out. If life is a cup of tea, gratitude is the honey that makes it sweet. And then we have another trifold. This was the first one that I made. This was 3 tags, but I made a trifold. I'll link below to the video where I showed you how to do that. You'll never find a cup of tea big enough or a book long enough to suit me. Winston Churchill, Prime Minister, England. Obviously, I like this. That page, that digital part. And the middle signature. Now, I've just tied it off in a bow. I'm going to send along some other little jewelry bits. And if you want to tie to the end of it, I invite you to. I chose not to. And here, this one, I joked on Facebook with the group. Earl Grey. Yes, I know it's a tea. See, Earl Grey tea. Right here. But the little birdie's wearing a crown. So there's royalty in here. Yes. Kind of corny, but hey. Tea time. Memories. And here's another little teacup that I cut out. You, me, and a cup of tea. And here's so I used the Cricut to cut out the words. And then this is the negative space where I've backed something. Happiness is warming your hands with a cup of hot tea. And here's another little, just a little something. I've done all the paper clips with some ribbon and some lace. Here's another flip out. Now, I have to say, this one here is my favorite of all the layouts that I've done. I just felt it felt as though this teapot could pour tea into these cups, and these cups I built them so that they would be like a stack with a little ribbon on there, and it flips out, and backed them with some of the fabric. So yeah, that's my favorite. Life is like a cup of tea to be filled to the brim and enjoyed with a group of friends. Now here's the other side of one of those pages. And you could attach something to here. And I thought about it. I have a few other things that I'm going to send along that you can attach if you'd like. Here's a belly band with one of the smaller. So you can put it through here, you can put something through here, and then the vellum, so you can see what's behind there. And this is a postcard from the Dallas Museum of Art. It's a Manet vase of white lilacs and roses. This was in a picture frame that was thrifted, and I took out of the picture frame because I liked the image. I thought it would look so good in there. I think it does. A little image. This was from a card, and you can tell it's handmade. I think it's like a texture paste with some glitter. And another one of those pockets. I tried to make this look like a tea bag in a cup. About to spill, obviously. And another of these little places to write in there. There's one. Here's another one. Astonishing how tea opens the ears. Darjeeling, that's a kind of tea. Tea party. So in these little packets, there are places to write. Here's a journal card. Tea, 1,500 varieties, and one universal truth. We sit, we sip, and it soothes. A pocket, and inside the pocket, now this is a doily, and you can fit one of the small tags in there, like so. And just a little place to write. You can see why it's filled up so well. It's got a lot in here. Now here's a little booklet, Drinking Tea with a Pinch of Imagination. Another one of those disposable tea packets. They're like a very fine mesh. Never been used. It's brand new. I bought a bunch of them for tea at one point. So we've got a little pocket here with a butterfly. Here's another embossed envelope and a small tag. I think there's 13 of them. I'll count it up and put it below in the description. And here is this one. I like this one. When the world is at odds and the mind is at sea, then cease the useless tedium and brew a cup of tea. There's magic in its fragrance, there's solace in its taste, and the laden moments vanish somehow into space. The world becomes a lovely thing. There's beauty, as you'll see, all because you've briefly stopped to brew and drink a cup of tea. And I couldn't find who was attributed to that poem. I don't know, maybe you'll be able to find. See, words there. And almost done, almost done. Here's the packet that I did. There's a video showing how I laminated this rose petal and baby's breath. And it's another little notepad. Oh, better move my tea. This is the back. It's a vellum. You can write on it too. And in here is another glassine bag. And I've got some of the teacups that I've cut out or embossed and such if you wanted to use them. So we've got extras. There's this little just a writing card. I thought it looked pretty there. Kind of overwhelmed by all the ephemera. And a writing board. I try to include a writing board with everything that I make because there's special things in here, I like to write with something smooth underneath. So that gives you the opportunity for that. It's a pocket. And finally, just the little brooch. Again, it's a brooch. You can remove it if you want. The lace is attached, hand sewn. And the back. And that is the journal without anything in it. So you can see it closes quite naturally when it doesn't have any of the ephemera in. And if you were going to have a bridal shower or a tea or, maybe it's an anniversary, you could take all the ephemera out and lay it out for people to write on and then place it back in yourself. Or you could have them write on inside here and you could put pictures in. I mean, this would be a lovely gift for a mum or a grandma or a bride-to-be, or for, I don't know, somebody maybe if they're at home and they have visitors that come. Maybe they're stuck at home for some reason. Maybe they're recuperating from an injury, and you can have them come in and you can give this to them as a gift, and anybody that comes can sign and leave them a note. I don't know. To me, the options are endless. I have a tea journal that I made. It's one of the first ones that I made when I started this craft. And this was at the beginning of the pandemic. Basically, I was planning on having lots of people in for tea, and yeah, But it became what we did as a family. Like, here's our grandson. He drew a picture. 2020, July. That's from our daughter. in love. I don't want anything I don't deserve. So she'd find quotes. My son, who's not a writer necessarily, he's a visual person, he kept leaving me jokes. Riddle: if you see a boat filled with people, yet there isn't a single person on board, how is that possible? The answer is not on the next page. The people on the boat are married. Ha ha, get it? And so this is one that I made for myself, and you can see how our daughter, she would write things, and our son would write things, and yeah. Have you sold anything yet? No, why not? That's my son, who's a business person. He's an entrepreneur. So he's like, you're making these, Mom. You should sell them. So, anyhow. So this tea journal here that I've just made after 2 years of practice is now for sale. And for someone that sees the value in it and can imagine what to use it for, whether it's for yourself and your family or whether it's a gift for someone else. All kinds of ephemera. I'll count it up and I'll put the exact count in the description below. But I wish you well. I wish you happy tea encounters. Even if you're not really a tea aficionado, it's fun to play. Cheers. Take care. It's Lori at Positive Thanks Living.